So, Pizza Tower just released yesterday as of writing the script, and it's pretty awesome. Probably one of the best platformers I've ever played, and I'm not even joking. One thing I love are the boss battles. They're extremely fun, and the characters you fight are amazingly designed. Which one is the best? Which one is the worst? Which one is the one that nobody really minds, but at the same time nobody thinks is the best overall? I'm here to answer that question with this video. I'm going to be ranking all the Pizza Tower bosses worst to best. By the way, spoiler warning for the game. If you haven't played it, please go play it right now. It's really good. Anyway, time to start the video. Okay, this pains me to say it, but I dislike the Vigilante fight. I love the character, don't get me wrong. Probably one of my favorites in the game, but his boss fight isn't so great. While I'd say most of the bosses are difficult, I really hate this one in particular. He starts out the battle by giving a gun Meta Knight style. I don't think this gun is very fun to use. It lets you charge a shot or just shoot normally. The charge shot feels useless as it's really clunky to use and misses like every shot you do. I suggest using it at the start of the fight before the Vigilante starts moving it in his attacks more often. Shooting without charging feels fine enough, but the real problem is the lack of grabbing. This limits your movement in a way I can't really describe, and it just feels awful to play, unlike the rest of the game. Let's talk about the attacks that I feel aren't so bad. First, he can throw dynamite at you. In phase 2 this gets a bit more extreme, but it's manageable. He can also dash at you, try and set you on fire with his flamethrower, jump and fire his gun, and also jump and fire a bazooka. The bazooka move got me after a few tries due to the shockwaves it sends out, but it's not so bad after a while. One of the attacks I do hate is the cow attack. If this thing is out while another is happening, it's nearly impossible not to get hit. You can destroy the cow by shooting it a few times, but it can distract you from what the Vigilante is doing. One thing I also kinda don't like about this fight is the ghost of Johnny Cheese. That's actually his name. It can mess you up if the Vigilante is doing either Dasher's final annoying attack, him just shooting at you. Might be just because I'm not good at this game, but this just gets me sometimes. It feels a bit spammy, which I don't know. The final hit sees you doing a western duel with the Vigilante, which might just be me, but I never knew you had to wait for the sign to go up before you had to press the shoot button. It took me around 20 tries to wait for the sign to go up, which is probably just me being stupid. But this fight is still really cool. The second phase does the same thing as Blood Sauce Dungeon when you're completely blacked out, which you think would be annoying, but it's actually not much of a problem. The music is also really good in my opinion. I really like this track. Not one of my favorites, but it's still a banger like the rest of the OSTs. I can't diss that. That's all I have to say for this fight. On to number 4. Okay, so I love the Peppermint fight, right? And I had trouble ranking it, but I had to rank the bosses in order, so here he is. The song for this fight is an absolute banger, and I love that he's an egotistical artist now. Let's just cover his attacks. He starts the battle by using his shoulder bash like in Demo 0. These are pretty easy to dodge, but after a few hits he changes it up by changing the direction to fake the ramp. He also has a ground pound attack, which is also pretty easy to dodge. He then uses a jump attack, which is difficult to hit him in, but it's still manageable. Then he goes back to his shoulder bash, but he doesn't get stunned after ramming into a wall. You must carve a statue for him to admire before you can hit him. Phase 2 doesn't change up too much, just makes Peppermint faster and adds sliding statues for you to dodge. I'm fairly certain the timing for you to hit him is also decreased, but I'm not too sure about that. After you get him down to 1 HP during phase 2, he becomes small and you have to chase after him. This did get to me a few times, as I'm not very good at this game, as you could see with the Vigilante section, but I don't know, it's a bit hard to hit him actually. He does the job well as a first boss, and I think he teaches the players later mechanics the bosses will use. Not much else to say. On to number 3. I really wanted to make the noise number 2, but I feel like he's not as good as 2 bosses left on this list. But I still love him. He's almost perfect, I swear. So why do I love this boss? First off, I love the noise of his character. He's definitely my favorite out of all the Pizza Tower cast. The song used is fucking awesome. It's an absolute banger. His way of taunting Peppermint is great and it shows off so much character. His attacks? Great. First of all, he uses a skateboard. He jumps during an attack in phase 2, and he can also kick the skateboard at you, distancing him from yourself. Make sure you jump once you feel his attack is ending it, as it will make you miss a chance to hit him if you don't. He can use a hot air balloon to throw bombs at you. When he stops using this attack, he'll attempt to ground pound you, so be careful. During phase 2, a clone of the noise will fall down which will explode if you get near it, and the real noise will try and ground pound you again. The pogo stick is probably his easiest attack. He'll just bounce around and throw bombs at you. In phase 2, he'll use his pizza crusher at the end. His last attack is his trusty jetpack where he'll charge at you and then bounce around a few times. All of these attacks are awesome and there's always something to be focusing on. A cool detail about this fight is that you can hit him from the start when he's taunting you, if you quickly just use the grab. Stuff like this is really cool in my opinion, as it rewards players for being quick. The ending of this fight is the only sort of negative I have. It seems like the noise is about to have an extra bullet health phase as he gets his Gatling gun, until suddenly, Noise Z grabs him and drags him off the arena. While it does suit the Noise's cartoon nature, it's a bit of a letdown as I wanted more from the fight because it was so good. At least it's funny. Anyways, 2 more bosses to go, and I apologize for this next bit as it might be a bit controversial. Okay, so the only reason I put Pizza Face in number 2 is because it's too easy. Compared to most of the other bosses which made me want to bash my head in, it's kind of a cakewalk. I feel like regenerating your health to full during phase 2 was the issue. I don't think it really needed that. Apart from that one issue, this fight is fucking amazing and it's the perfect climax. The atmosphere leading up to the fight is intense and while the setting is obvious, it's also awesome. Phase 1 is pretty simple. Pizza Face hovers in the air, sending out some enemies for you to hit him with. He can also charge into you and try and hurt you, which can catch you off guard if you're trying to deal with the enemies he sends out. Speaking of which, the selection is very good. The Bandito Drickens, Mini Johns, and Ninja Slices are annoying, but not impossible to deal with. Then, when you defeat him... Oh god. Oh shit. Pizza Head is fucking rare. He's perfect for a final boss. He's so cartoonish, and it feels like the only things he wants to do is piss off Pepino. His attacks are awesome, especially the TV head one. It's so surreal, the fight. I just love it. You use the pistol in this fight, which isn't as bad as in Vigilante's fight, as Pizza Head doesn't move around quite as much. This allows you to make use of the charge shot a lot more. Pizza Face also appears to throw down screws, I think. I'm not too sure. But they're pretty easy to lose track of. This part of the fight is perfectly chaotic, and the background is also sick. I haven't talked about the music, have I? Because it's fucking amazing. Probably one of my favorite final boss teams of all time, if I'm being honest. Once you get Pizza Head to 1 health, he fakes out his death, kinda. He brings out all the previous bosses to fight you, including Peppermint, Vigilante, Noise, and I'll get you later, boy. Pepino goes insane and you just start beating the shit out of all the bosses. It's really satisfying to do as you feel how angry Pepino is at this point through his animations. Then you reach Pizza Head once again. You see attacks this time, which are as cartoonish as in phase 2, but they're pretty easy to dodge. The music at this part makes you feel how pissed Peppino is at Pizza Face. It's amazing and I love it. Then you deliver the final blow and Peppino pile drives Pizza Head into the tower. It's the perfect final boss to his perfect game. Now you might be wondering why I put him at number 2. I told you already, you fucking numbskull, but it's because there's one more boss I prefer. Let's find out who that is.
It's the cheese dragon.
Fake Peppino is the best boss in the game. Why? Let me explain. His design is perfectly creepy, and his animations are actually unsettling. The music that plays is really good. It's perfect for his character. One thing I like about this fight is the fact that you have so many opportunities to get a hit him before Fake Peppino can perform his attack. His attacks are really fun to dodge in my opinion. He tries to grab you at first, then when you hit him, great clones will appear. This will happen every time you hit him, so be careful. He then jumps like a frog, then sprints across the room, then jumps up to the roof and back down, and then super taunts. If you haven't noticed, his attacks are copies of your moveset. The upside down jump is supposed to mimic your super jump, which I find really neat. Before the super taunt attack, he takes off his head and throws it at you. This attack is really weird and I love it. The next attack that happens as the phases transition is the super taunt one with Fake Peppino clone showing up. This is basically just a bullet hell and I love it. Then, phase 2 uses the attacks as before but with Fake Peppino clones added in to make your life miserable. I absolutely love this part, it's amazing. I think this is peak boss design for Pizza Tower. Then, once you finally kill Fake Peppino, the floor drops and oh my god, he's huge, run. Fake Peppino chases you at this point and you have to get to the exit. This part does feel a bit easy now with the new update, but he looks absolutely horrifying and I love him for that. This fight is absolutely perfect, it's so good. I know I didn't talk about this fight as much as the other fights, but there's not much to talk about this in this. It speaks for itself if you play it. So that's it. That's all the bosses ranked. Do you agree with this list? If you do, please comment down below your rankings. And if you agree with me, which you probably do, you probably don't because it's Pizza Head. I might do levels in the future if there's a demand for it, but I still haven't made up my mind about the levels just yet, so I'm not sure how I will rank them. Anyways, thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a good one.